Hello, welcome back. This looks like it's gonna be another day where a lot of Chinese stocks are gonna be going down. And we did have a correction of like 7% last Friday. Looks like today we're gonna be having a similar story. And one of the things that can actually tell you that this is, of course, about sentiment. It's about the trend and about all the negativity that has been surrounding Chinese stocks. Is the fact that from Thursday to Monday the stock has lost like 15% for no real reason. It's mostly about the same news pretty much being recycled and some mention of potential delisting of some companies. And this has been going on for a while now. It's things that we kind of knew of already. And again, they're being recycled and spreading the fear. Now, the thing is, nothing has really changed fundamentally for the company, of course. It's still the exact same company making the exact same money. It's like a couple of days. It's just that if you are an investor that's actually already holding the stock, you look at this price, and if you bought at like, let's say 200, you're like, okay, this is going down and down and down. I may have to sell at some point. And then you actually end up selling at the lowest point, really, effectively losing money that potentially you could have easily gained back in the future. Now, of course, I'm not going to tell you whether you should be selling or buying the stock. This is your own decision. But I can tell you that I will be buying. And if the stock actually goes about maybe 75 or so, I will keep on adding to my position, because what you need to understand is that when the public is involved, you can have irrational acts, irrational decisions, people selling off and selling all the stocks that they have for no real reason. It's just because of the news, and they're hearing about potential deletes and things of that sort. They don't really think about it. They're just selling because they are scared of the political tensions, and they think that somehow they will lose all their money into Alibaba or any other Chinese stock. Now, not every Chinese company is the same, of course, but large behemoths like Alibaba or JD, I think companies of that sort, Tencent, I'm not really scared for those companies, to tell you the truth, because even if they get delisted from the US market, that doesn't mean anything. They will still have their free cash flow, their earnings, pretty much their whole business, which is flourishing, really. So I have used my tool here, for which I have created a module to actually pretty much real time refresh and actually give me a new species for all sorts of different stocks. And I'm actually specifying the stock, and I'm getting all the articles here. And I have a couple of articles that I wanted to talk about. And to start off, I actually wanted to show this one, which mentions what happened in the Hong Kong Stock Exchange here, which actually plants to a 6-year low, as pretty much the same the same things get recycled here, and a worsening COVID-19 outbreak. Okay, I mean this is like a daily news. It happens every day, the same thing. But again, we are amidst a fear time, really, and so these kinds of news can potentially become a way for you to make money just by buying into the relative fear here. And so you will see that the Hang Seng Tech Index tumbled by 11%, which is the steepest loss actually it has suffered since its creation in 2020. And this article actually mentions a few things here. The fact that the potential worsening of COVID-19 can hurt some of the services and industries and things of that sort, which has been a problem really for like 3 years now. So that doesn't really change much today. But you will see that there have been losses from JD.com, from Tencent, all the companies here that have been pretty much annihilated. And interestingly, even other companies that are not tech companies, like pharmaceutical producers, have also been tumbling as well. And the Chinese markets have actually lost a lot of their value on paper, just because of the current sentiment in the markets. Now, if I go back to my tool here, you will see that this is the article that I wanted to talk about. And if I open this up, this is a very, very interesting article I found. And it actually tries to kind of use the Russian stocks as a mirror to Chinese stocks. And I don't think there's any similarities really between the two. But look at this title: Alibaba stock, Russian stocks worth pennies. Will Chinese stocks suffer the same fate? I mean, there's just no way that a company from China is the same as a company from Russia, first of all. Completely different economies, but also completely different influence in the world. And so I just can't see how you could even have such an article. But these kinds of articles can actually help induce more fear. And if you are a cautious investor and an avid long-term investor, you can actually wait in the sidelines and potentially accumulate stock for a cheaper price. So what's been mentioned here in this article is some things about the valuations of Alibaba and the tensions between the U.S. and China right here, right now, and the potential significance of a China and U.S. war here. But the article actually mentions that Russia is asking for Chinese military assistance for the Ukraine war, which I'm not sure it's gonna be a thing, but I don't expect the world actually to sanction China, even if they assist Russia. Although I'm not sure if that's going to happen. I'm actually not really knowledgeable about the situation between Russia and China. But as you can see, the article points to the fact that 5 Chinese stocks have been mentioned. This was like last Friday, so this is accounted for. But then again, the fear continues, and declining prices tend to continue for a little while. And the interesting thing that the article points is that the Russian stocks are worth some pennies now. And that's actually true. But again, these are Russian companies, and some of them are making good money. That's true. And actually, myself, I am potentially even thinking of adding some Russian companies to my portfolio. Just a little bit of money, just because a lot of those have dropped like 96, 97% or something of that sort. I was looking at some actually. But when I actually tried to visit my broker, I couldn't trade the companies, and so I don't know if this is going to be mitigated sometime soon. But I tried the Sberbank, for instance, here. Just tried to trade it on my account, and I couldn't. And I'd like to buy a little bit, to tell you the truth. And yeah, it doesn't seem like it's possible right now. You will see here that the article talks about some of these companies that have been really, really affected here. But you will see here that pretty much again the article talks a little bit about Russia potentially giving oil to China and maybe getting some of their economy back because of that is something that is being mentioned, and the fact that Russia could potentially seize and nationalize some foreign-owned companies and assets here is another interesting thing. And then the article actually enters China and talks about whether Chinese companies will have the same fate. Goes into detail about what happened with Luckin Coffee back in 2020 when the company actually had a decline because of an accounting scandal, which really hurt the company back then. And this is what caused the whole deal with Didi after that, and the whole potential of delisting companies because they don't have proper financials and proper paperwork really. They don't have the proper accounting actions. They don't take the proper accounting actions to help the US and validate actually whether their profits, their reports are actually valid or not. That's the whole point. And again, the article points that it's important to note that many major Chinese stocks like Baba, Baidu, JD.com, the companies of that sort are listed in the US, but also have dual listings. They are also in the Hong Kong exchange, and if a delist would happen, you would be getting stock in these exchanges. Now, I don't think that will ever happen, really, personally, not even close. But amidst the fear, it's good to know about what's going to be happening when if a delist ever happens. Really, you're not going to be losing your stock if you're afraid of that. So then the article talks about Alibaba's projected revenue and net income, for which we have talked in detail and have fully analyzed in multiple videos. The financials of Alibaba are pretty much stellar, and this is what prompts me to want to buy even more of the company right now, just because amid all this play right now where there's so much fear and people are scared and they're dumping their stocks for no real reason, if you ask me. the underlying business remains the same, and this is the only thing I care about for all of my stocks. I have witnessed multiple declines over the years. I have been trading in the markets for many many years and holding stock. The thing is, the only thing that scares me is the business going south. Sorry, not north. So the business going south. I mean, if that happens, that scares me because if the business starts losing money, if they cannot pay back their debts, if they have this type of actual financial troubles, then I'm getting scared. But if we're talking about geopolitical tensions, wars and things of that sort that potentially can cause some declines, I'm not that scared of those because eventually they always dissipate and the underlying business remains the same. So unless something fundamental changes with Alibaba, my thesis about the company won't change. I'm still an avid buyer and I'm actually potentially thinking of adding more to my portfolio if it goes down more. And I actually did that last week. I already added some more Alibaba to my account and I will potentially think about adding more, as I said. And yeah, the article basically ends here by talking a bit about the attractiveness of Alibaba and other Chinese stocks, just because the current valuations are very very low right now. And if you actually take a look at their assets and how much money they are making, they are trading at like 10 times earnings or 8 times earnings or things of that sort, which is absolutely insane. Like I was looking at Alibaba, for example, and the forward PE. This is estimates, of course, but it's probably gonna be around that, maybe a little bit higher. But okay, it's less than 10 for a company like Alibaba. It is absolutely insane. And the current price to free cash flow for 2021 was about 8 or something. The last 12 months was like 11. So this is very very cheap, and it's definitely up my alley. So yeah, as I said, I'm definitely a buyer of this company. And as the declines continue, I'm really looking into companies like JD, for instance, here, which I have analyzed, and if it went like 40s or so, then I could potentially think about adding some. But there are so many interesting companies here, the big ones, of course, just to have a little bit of a less risk. The ones that are making tons of free cash flow. Baidu is another great one that can be a potential target here. They are interesting, and I think Baidu was actually a little bit overvalued, if I remember correctly. I've made a video about it. But from the big ones, Alibaba for me is by far the most undervalued one and the one that makes the most money. And so yeah, it's really worth it to take a look at Chinese stocks right now. Feel like in a couple of years or so they're gonna be exploding. So this is always what's happening in the markets. There is always a circle. It's always circular. It will go down, and when that happens, you have to be ready to buy, because at some point you will witness, the rise. That will definitely happen at some point. And if you were vigilant enough to pay attention and not really care about what's going on in terms of fear porn all around and sentiment and all that, then you could potentially have gained from the situation. So pay special attention and don't get scared just because of the news that you're reading around. It's very very easy to get scared, but you won't avoid that. So I hope you enjoyed the video and so that helped you a little bit. I can totally understand that a lot of you are scared, but if I were holding Alibaba and I was down, which I am, because I bought at 118, it was my first lot, which I bought 10k, then I bought 5k last week or so I'm down on that too. You know how much I'm scared? Zero. I have zero fear. I'm not kidding at all. I don't care at all. I just don't even think about it because, there's nothing to think about here. It's just temporary, I feel. And I'm not seeing any change in the underlying business, so I keep on holding and buying more. And this is what happens when you're buying quality companies. Fear goes down. You sleep at nights without even thinking about it. If I was holding a company that was starting to lose money, like let's say I was holding an oil company, and then all of a sudden, we don't have any issues right now in the world, no more wars, and then the stock plummets again because oil prices plummet again, then I would be sweating bullets. Well, that's a completely different story, completely different company, a completely different commodity. Alibaba is a completely different beast, generally speaking. So hopefully you enjoyed the video. Let me know what you think about it. Are you scared? Are you thinking of buying, which I think is the proper way to react? Or are you thinking of selling? Are you that scared? What do you think about Alibaba? Let me know with a comment below. I'd love to hear about it. So thanks for watching this video. And if you did enjoy this one, take a look at this video that I made earlier. It's about Baidu. Just you may want to be researching some Chinese companies right now as we are in discount mode. Thanks for watching this one again, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.